For Creamer Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dlamini. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me for Suttner's View, a weekly commentary on South Africa's political scene. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
Much of what you've been writing continually relates to qualities of leadership. What is the core problem you see?
What I see is a problem of confidence that we have in leadership and a problem of trust. For example, we have electricity outages. We have massive power problem where the GDP of South Africa is going to be much lower than expected, and a huge amount is lost every month. And when I say a huge amount, I don't want to quote the statistics because we have a sense, not just me, but commentators who are experts in this have a sense that there is not full disclosure of what the problem is. We have a situation which could have been avoided because decisions were made or not made from the Mbeki period, which has led to problems in power. There has not been adequate maintenance. What needed to be done was not done, and there has not been, one gets the sense that there have not been adequate attempts to look for alternative renewable sources of energy. Also, we have a situation where at the height of this crisis, you have a CEO who was on the job for about 6 months, Tseziso Matona, who is dismissed. We don't know what he did wrong, or if he was not up to the job, why did they appoint him? Surely they went through what his qualities were, because this is a key state entity. And Matona, no adequate reasons were presented for his dismissal. We also may have forgotten that at the time of his dismissal, Zola Tsotsi was the chair of the ESCOM board, and was apparent that the way he was playing that role was not as a non-executive chair. He was very much present in the office and was earning an income from being a non-executive chair. So we have this situation where they say to us that Brian Molefe, who's now acting CEO, is really the ideal person. Everyone is very happy. He's going to do this, that, and the other. Now, I don't know anything about him, but all I know is I don't have confidence in the statements coming from government on these things, and for all we know, he may not be okay. We have, on the energy front, a lot of talk about nuclear energy and secrecy surrounding that. What exactly is the deal proposed with Russia? And the person who's driving the process is a minister who's had a number of scandals around her. So there are a lot of these things which make one wonder, can we trust our leaders? Can we have confidence in the decisions that they make? There's another thing that is hardly mentioned, and that is the looming water crisis. Insofar as it is acknowledged, it is the focus is on acids coming from the mines and polluting the waters, and the question then is, why does the Department of Mineral Energies not police these things adequately to ensure that mines operate in a manner that is satisfactory? But yesterday in the Sunday Times, I was reading about the extent of sewage, unprocessed sewage, being put into water that is supposed to be drinking water. And some of it, in the case of the big municipalities, they are able to find a way of containing the problem. But as with most things, the smaller municipalities, where you've got the poorest of the poor, can't really deal with this. So what I think is happening is that decisions are made or not made. They're going to have a huge water problem, which is not only a question of drought. There's a huge problem which is looming. And so far, the way in which they've contained the problem has been in the richer areas and not in the poorer areas, confirming a sense that one has that the present government is actually anti-poor in many of its actions. It says it represents the poorest of the poor, but the way it acts is actually anti the poor.
And what do you make of the claim that the NPA is now going to charge what are called the big guns?
You see, the NPA has been in disarray for a long time, and it's one of the institutions that has been undermined, partly because when the first appointment by Zuma of Menzi Simelane was made, he wanted to ensure that whoever held that position would not make Zuma himself a target. In particular, the potentiality that has now arisen of reinstitution of charges could have become a factor even earlier on. And Simelane was found by the court to be not fit to hold office. They then appointed Nkosana, and he was dismissed with the so-called golden handshake. Now, the new head of the NPA, Abrams, is supposed to be a career prosecutor and thus above factional politics, although some people had said he was close to Jiba, the deputy director, who the Bar Council is moving to have struck off the role. Now, yesterday, when this report appeared in the city press about Abrams or the NPA going to charge big guns, they had their people like Ivan Pillay of SARS and Gerrie Nel, people who, for various reasons, have angered the government. But it was also mentioned that Jiba and Mkhebi are going to have their charges withdrawn, their charges of fraud and so forth. So what you see there is a decision. One of the last things that Nkosana said was that when he wanted to ensure that even if he left, that those two, Jiba and Mkhebi, would be charged. And now this decision has been made, which appears to be one that is extremely partisan. So we have a situation where we come to the question of who is making the appointment. And Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch are bringing a legal action at this moment where they argue that the golden handshake given to Nkosana is illegal because Zuma negotiated it and Zuma is an interested party. It is argued that Zuma should not be the person who makes the appointments of the NPA head because he has an interest in having someone who will not bring charges against him. So we have the situation then of undermining of core institutions. It's not only NPA, it's the disarray goes into PRASA, SARS, SAPS, the Hawks, IPID, etc., etc. And I think this is part of the baggage that comes with the type of government that we've got at the moment, which is very patronage-based and high levels of corruption.
Thank you, Professor. That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Creamer Media's Polity about leadership, trust and confidence.